Over the course of the next several months, I'm going to be attempting to build my dream office. We just moved into a new place, and this is the first time ever that I have my own space to work. Recently, I have been obsessed with the mid-century modern design, so I've been saving things on Pinterest like crazy for inspiration. So now I'm gonna take that obsession and build my dream office. This space is just so boring, so we gotta do something to make it cool and functional. Also, I sketched out a little bit of a blueprint to give us a better idea of how we want to go about doing the design of the room. And I just really wanted to draw. That being said, let's talk about the things the office needs. And after finding a Sharpie that actually worked, I came up with 4 things for us to focus on. First off, it needs to be one of a kind, personalized with the things I love. Number 2, we need a ton of storage. Number 3, I feel like is the most overlooked. We need good acoustics, no echoes. And lastly, we're going to be going for organic mid-century modern design with oranges, greens, and browns as the primary colors. What can I say? I have a vision and I know what I want. The first thing we're going to start off with is storage. We're going to be focusing on the dresser that I just got from Facebook Marketplace for like $60. I've already broken it a couple times, so we're going to have to do some repairs. Let's get into it. I want to make this dresser super functional for all my camera gear. It's going to hold cameras, lenses, drones. I especially need a place to charge all my batteries. Yesterday it rained, and I'm worried that if it rains again, it'll ruin the wood, so we got to be quick. All right, so we're going to sand it all down to be able to stain it. This is going to get dusty. Should probably go change. This is the mask I'm going to be using. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Whenever I'm going to bed, I have to have a fan on to create white noise. The same thing happens when I'm sanding. I get into the deepest thoughts I've ever been in, and I feel like I am floating in my head. It is like the weirdest thing. It's a weird thing to share, but I had to. Now we're gonna start sanding the cupboards and the drawers, and I think this is gonna be the worst part. Hoping this process today is gonna be a lot quicker. I compared the stain that I had to the original, and they were like way too similar. So I went and picked up a new one. This is a lot nicer. It's oil-based, so it should be a lot darker and nicer. I want it to be like a rich, but also warm walnut look. But I also got a bracket for this piece that broke. You can see how thin that is. Paint the inside of that box. It's gonna be like a showcase of the lenses and the cameras. So yeah, let's do this thing. This is my way of dusting off the cabinet. All I had was my jacket, but honestly, I feel like I put a lot of extra time into this cabinet because I really wanted it to be perfect and last me a long time, because I don't want to make something that's just gonna break in like a couple months. Honestly, I love the color. Exactly what I was looking for. And I sat there in the aisle at Lowe's for like so long trying to debate on which one was gonna work. So I'm really glad I went with this one. Now I'm gonna paint the inside of the box. Generally, your walls are gonna have a lot shinier of a look, and that makes it also very durable. But I don't want that. I want a very matte satin finish. So I went with a very low quality paint to achieve that. One of the biggest things, moving this is the biggest pain, especially by myself. So I decided that it needs wheels. Gonna test them out. Oh yeah. That works nice. You like it? Now I want to make this thing as functional as possible, so I'm starting with the shelf inside the cabinet. I'm putting down this adhesive felt to protect the cameras and the paint. Right now, I'm installing these puck lights I got off Amazon for no more than like $35. Because again, I want it to feel like a display case where I'm displaying my cameras, because I pay a lot of money for them. And why not give them the respect they deserve? Now, everything at this point was perfect. Until this happened. The cabinet fell down and broke. The wheel had snapped off, and I was editing at my desk, and it made the loudest noise behind me, and I jumped like a little girl. Fortunately, it didn't break too bad where a couple screws can't fix it. I'd probably say the absolute biggest thing I need this cabinet to have is a charging station. I wanted to have it in a drawer where it's kind of tucked away and easily hideable because there's gonna be a ton of different cords that I don't wanna have to deal with. I also got this power strip off Amazon. I think it was closer to like $45 and it fit perfectly. I powered the lights by wiring it to the power strip that I plugged into the extension cord. Now that we have everything plugged in, let's see if the lights work. Perfect. I then got everything plugged in and all the chargers set up so that we could roll the cabinet into its spot in the closet. Then I made these labels so that I could put them on the drawers. My wife said it looks a little tacky, and she's probably right, but I low-key like it, so we'll probably keep it. Let me know what you guys think. Next thing we're gonna do is build a storage for the tripods. Tripods gotta be the most annoying thing to store. So I went and picked these crates up from Michael's. To attach them together, I just used the spare wood. And I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my favorite ideas that I came up with for this project. It was just so cheap. Now let's start making this a little bit more personalized and unique. I have a bunch of cameras that I need to display. So I went to the thrift store and I found a bunch of frames that I feel like would look good for this. So I popped them out and started taking them apart. Ever since I got really into photography, I've had a lot of grandparents and parents gift me these old vintage cameras, but I haven't been able to find the right way to display them. So when I looked up on Pinterest, I was surprised that there were so many people with these cool ideas, but this one definitely stuck out to me the most. See that? Look how cool it is, like an accordion. All right, the last camera. Let's see how it does. And as you can tell, I was pretty stoked about how it turned out. From the beginning, I've known that I want an old stereo to be able to put in this space. And I went up north about 2 hours and found this one off Marketplace, and I felt like it was perfect. And then I went to this antique shop and found this old 50s TV. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. So if there's anybody out there that knows how to work on these things, please let me know. I made another trip to the thrift store and I got this old vinyl and this pot stand from the dollar store. I spray painted it orange and I used super glue to glue the vinyl to the top. And I know what you're thinking, hot glue would have been perfect. I'm just lazy and all I had was super glue. Honestly, I can't believe how cheap this was. I think it was less than $6 to make. I pretty much went on a shopping spree trying to find a bunch of different things that I felt would be perfect for the space. So here are a couple of them. But I found this old TV. It's black and white, it's portable, and this is like the holy grail from back in the day. I was able to power it on, and my objective is to make it work with the Wii. Yes, the Nintendo Wii. But you're gonna have to wait till the end to see if we got it to work. And I also found this lamp that I think is so cool. So honestly, we have a ton of stuff we gotta paint. We got my desk, we got the stereo legs that we're gonna have to stain probably a darker oak. Crate that's gonna be green, mirror's gonna be a green. Yeah, I'm probably gonna start off painting the mirror. So one of the issues with the green that I got, way too bright and neon, so I'm gonna mix some black with it. Hopefully it doesn't screw up the paint. Remember, the aesthetic we're going for is a mid-century modern. We need to make sure we have oranges, greens, browns. That is the main aesthetic we're trying to go for. The old stereo actually didn't come with legs, but I stole these off an old TV stand that I had that I was gonna throw away anyways. All it needed was a little bit of glue and some paint. All right, we're gonna throw on the good old stain. It's gonna be the same color as the cabinet. Pretty much brush it all on, and then we'll wipe it off with like a cloth or a sponge. Yeah. Let's get into it. Pause. We can skip this part. I'm going to be completely transparent. This day started off so good and I was extremely motivated to get through everything. I knew I had a lot of coats to get through, and so I started pretty early. And as the day dragged on and I had to wait for more and more coats to dry, it became exhausting. I just was so sick of it and I just wanted to be done. Everything just became more and more difficult. I'm gonna be honest, I'm literally so exhausted. I'm drained. My head is killing, probably from all the chemicals I've inhaled. I'm also missing a screw, I just realized. Great. But y'all did not come here to watch me complain. I realize this is all for fun, and sometimes I take things maybe a little bit too seriously. A very special person in my life once told me, happiness isn't so much the situation of your life, but everything to do with the focus of your life. When our focus is our religion, families, or helping the people around us, our lives are just better. My objective with this channel is to inspire people to create more. I'm gonna be posting regularly every month, so please subscribe. I thought maybe going with a smaller one would be better. Hopefully the dude returns because it does not fit the vibe. I love the rug, but unfortunately it's just too small, so I'm gonna order a bigger one. Now I'm prepping these frames, and it took me a long time to find pictures that I felt like would fit the vibe and were very personal to me. So you have to let me know what you think. All right, we have completed framing them, and I'm gonna hang them, but I'm not gonna bore you guys. So let's just make this real quick. Here it is. Wait. Does that look better? More centered? You got the green, orange. I mean, look at the colors. Don't they look great? First of all, MJ, the GOAT. Then we got the Frank Ocean. This is kind of inspired by the Nostalgia Ultra like album cover. And then Interstellar, obviously this movie's just absolutely beautiful. It's just so good. Also got the nice brown borders, fits the vibe. After searching a marketplace, I was finally able to find a nice set of standing legs that I could just install onto the wood that I already had for my desk. Now, the last thing we're going to be focusing on is removing the echo, giving us good acoustics. I bit the bullet. Black Friday, I purchased these bad boys. The thing about this room though, it is a rental. So everything I put up, I have to be able to pretty much take down with no damage. So you can kind of see with all the cameras that I've already put up, I've made it a very temporary thing. So that's what I'm gonna try to do with these. I would try to explain to you how I'm gonna do this, but I don't necessarily know exactly. One thing I gotta point out is that the rug helped the acoustics in this room a ton, removing like most of the echo. I just feel like the panels will help a ton with the soundproofing. I spent a lot of time, as you can tell, thinking about how I was gonna do this without damaging any walls or cutting the panels. I decided that I would just use this plank to attach each of the panels together and just keep them as tight as possible. And then I would just prop it up against the wall. And at first I was kind of worried about doing this because I was worried they're gonna fall, which they did. But once there was enough on the wall, they kind of held each other together and gravity kind of does its thing and holds them up. At this point, I was finally able to see my vision come to life. It was perfect. The panels looked amazing and really tied the whole room together. But honestly, I'm just so excited to show you guys the final product. For the last several years, I've been using this desk chair, and it is about time we get a new one. Look at that. It looks so good. We're gonna test it out. Comfortability. Oh yeah, that's real nice. I look like Palpatine in his chair. Do it. I shouldn't. Do it. All right, guys, it has been a long time coming, but here's the final product. Okay, so we are gonna do a brief overview. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the cabinet that I put probably too much time into, but I actually love a lot. We got our cameras in here. I typically have my main video camera sitting right here. Honestly, it's just so functional. Everything's labeled, organized, and it's just worked perfectly. Charging in here. Then right here, we got the Red Bull fridge. This is like my prized possession. I freaking love this thing. For the last like 3 years, I've been collecting every flavor of Red Bull. Okay, now we're gonna make our way to the camera wall. I think turned out better than I anticipated. I don't look at it and appreciate it enough, but because it's kind of like the first thing we did in here outside of the cabinet. We got a couple of random different stuff. This is a Super 8 camera. And we have this old vintage TV. I think it's from like the 50s. No. I don't know, like 60s or something. Old, this thing's old, okay? It doesn't work, unfortunately. One day I would like to get it to work. Over here, we got this picture. I thought it was like the perfect color contrasts for the space. The vinyl table, which I think it turned out great. I love this space. I love the way this whole area looks. We'll come over here and we got the old stereo. It has a vinyl player and then it has the stereo like radio. And then the speakers are on each side. It does work. It's just not the loudest. I got this lamp for actually really cheap. TV got for super cheap as well. The cassette player works. I'm eventually going to wire the cassette player to the speakers so that I can play any of my cassettes in here. And then of course we got the acoustic panels. When we first moved here and I started working in here, it was so echoey. So these panels, they have acoustic backing, which is like a fabric. It removes any echo or a lot of the echo. And then we obviously have this rug, felt like matched the vibe. Above the desk, we have these 3 pictures, some of my favorite things. And then on the desk, ideally we have very little to nothing, right? Anything outside of what we actually need. I mean, you can kind of see, I don't need to explain what I have on my desk, but okay, this is one of the most slept on things in the office, I've got to say. In here, I have hard drives, SD cards, and cords, which I didn't think I would care that much for, but it has been such a blessing. Not to mention this chair. I've been using this chair for the last couple of weeks and I love it. We have plant greenery and then we have the storage for tripods and stuff. And then we got some more storage here, trash can, a drawer right here for more storage. One of my favorite things, you click 4 and it goes standing and it is so nice. I stained this, which I feel like the finish on is really nice. I got this desktop for free. So I put a lot of thought into where everything should go. And I have 2 different variations of how I have the layout in here. So I'm gonna show both of those, but I need you guys to let me know which one you guys like more. And I'll show those right now. And I appreciate you guys for watching. A lot of time and effort has gone into this. Thank you to Music Bed for helping and providing all the music for this video. Let me know what you guys think. All right, I promised you guys that we would get the TV set up with the Wii. Right now, I just loaded up Lego Star Wars. Look how sick that is. I had to watch a ton of YouTube videos to figure this out. I love the whole setup. Let me know what you guys think about the setup. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. And please consider subscribing, liking the video, and let me know what you guys think about the office space. If it turned out well, if you guys like option 1 or 2 better. Now I'm gonna play some Lego Star Wars.